Okay.
There we go.
Make sure it's on.
Alright.
Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew?
Here.
Mr. Kramer?
Here.
Mr. Menegini?
Here.
Mr. Moraro?
Here.
Mr. Pop?
Here.
Move on to approval of the agenda. Is there any questions on the agenda? If not, I would need a motion.
I make a motion we approve the agenda as is.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Approval of minutes, regular meeting of July 3rd, 2023.
I make a motion we approve minutes, regular meeting of July 3rd, 2023.
Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
We'll move on to the
Wait, Mrs. Brew?
Yes,
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
sorry. Move on to the manifest 2023-14. Scott, did you have any questions?
I have nothing tonight.
Brett?
I have none, thank you. None, Mayor.
No questions?
I have a couple. Page 4 of 8. Under electric utility. Let's see. Scott, what is the ground robot driver cordless? Is that a rotor?
No, ma'am, it's a hammer drill. So we had a hammer drill, and when we were working on the hydrant, it went bad, so we bought a replacement for it.
And then I have right underneath that, marketing flags, paint for $176.80. Is that we order all the time, or is that because this new line's coming in when we needed more things?
Yeah, well, some of it's, because we're going through a significant amount of flags and paint right now. We're doing as much as 75 mistigs a day, so we're going through it.
That's crazy.
Was this on Amazon days? Prime days?
I don't think it was.
And then part way down, and this is gonna go with that question, kind of with that, the locate flags, $474.50.
Yeah, so what I did is we were out of flags, so I quick ordered some on Amazon, so we had flags. These other ones were coming from border states, so those are 1,000, actually 2,000 flags that came in, so we should be good for a while, but we had nothing, so I quick got some in through Amazon, and that's why there's duplicates there.
And I'm sure we're using abundance of them on the fiber coming through. Kind of just making a statement right there, you know. That's a lot of money, a lot of man hours going into that.
Lots of time.
Hydro plant. Toro Smart Stove, what is that for? $499.99.
Page is that on?
That is, I'm
5.
sorry, 5 of 8.
It's from Paul's, Scott.
It's the very last one from Halls.
Oh, that's a lawnmower. We had a push mower actually it just blew up. So that's a push mower.
Didn't we just buy a lawnmower?
Street department may have, but this is a push mower.
Okay.
Just a small push mower for us.
I don't think we bought it recently.
Did we buy a rider? For down there? No, have.
Now that we talked about
We
it.
talked about it, we never did.
Okay.
We stuck with a push mower, just more personal.
Okay, 6 of 8, under wastewater fund. Vegetation control 280, vegetation control 235, vegetation control $200. Do we know what that's for?
They do, I know they do every year. It's vegetation around those beds. Is my understanding, but
Or around what beds? The ships, do you mean?
no. This is down at the plant.
Or
the
this is-
wastewater plant.
And I see it was for Beck's
Yeah,
ornamental.
yeah. No, that's always in wastewater's budget. That's at the actual,
Is this actually some kind of chemicals they put down, or is this just trimming and?
this is just basic
It's,
ground maintenance stuff.
it's chemicals because we don't have a license.
Yeah.
Bex has the license, so they don't
To spray the weeds and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, just do basic weed stuff.
That's all I have. So I have a motion on manifest 2023-14.
I'll make a motion to approve manifest 2023-14 in the amount of $524,281.12.
Support.
Mr. Morano?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Do we have any manifest questions from last time? I don't think we do either. We'll move on to public comments. Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on any item of interest shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have anybody who has public comments?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm deaf in one ear, so it's hard for me sitting back in here.
Can you state your name?
It's just 2 pages, so don't get nervous. I won't be here long. Mike still living back on Mission Street. There's some typos in there, so I ask for your forgiveness for that.
Can
Before I
you,
get started, I just want to let you know that you have honored guests in the back of the room. My stepson and his girlfriend are refugees from Ukraine, and they're staying with us. They've been here a year, and they'll stay 1 more year, unless the war's over before then. So I just wanted them to show them, small town democracy in action.
okay, welcome, and can you state your name and address?
Oh, yeah.
State-
It's on the page.
You have to say it out loud, and you have 3 minutes.
Okay. My name is Mike Steele. I live at N1760 Mission Street, Vulcan, Michigan 49892. And I'm really just here to talk about this summer watering program that used to be subject to credit. First of all, I want to say, as a longtime Vulcan resident and user of Norway utility service, first let me commend you for all your service to residents of Norway and Vulcan. Without exception, water, sewer, electric, cable, and internet services are consistently outstanding. As a former seasonal employee of City of Norway, I know how hardworking everybody is. I've seen it firsthand. The only reason, other than the fact I'm getting old, I stepped down from that. My dad, who was taking care of my mother with vascular dementia, died, and so we inherited that position. And I have to tell you how much she loved the parks. Somebody with dementia, they love to go on picnics. She loved to go out to Hanbury Lake. We'd have a fight with her every time it was time to get dark and time to go home. I don't want to go home, So that means a lot to me personally, and my wife as well, and my mother, who's no longer with us. Surprisingly, I know some people might be here to complain about uppings of the, cable, internet, and sewer rates, but I'm a retired banker in my professional life with over 30 years of service, and I know that a fiscally well-managed city is critical. And the City of Norway has been financially well-managed. I know every time you bump utility rates, somebody's going to squawk. Well, when I first came to Vulcan, cable rates cost $4 a month. They don't anymore, you know, so that shows you how long I've been around. And you gotta be realistic, things go up, they go up, salaries go up, maintenance goes up, you gotta build up your reserve funds. I know that because I spent time in the municipal bond department analyzing municipal fund balance accounting, and it's not fun to analyze, let me tell you. But you have to have reserve balances, especially when it comes time to, you know, float a bond issue to do something with your sewer treatment plant or other types of issues. If you don't have like a 10% overall reserve, the bond councils and the bond underwriters don't want to talk to you. It's just that simple. So you are being responsible in that regard. But as I say, however, every day the rain must fall somewhere, and I'm here to express my concern about the discontinuation of the sewer credit, which has historically been extended to city of Norway and Vulcan customers during the summer months. As you are fully aware, as you possess common sense, we Norway and Vulcan residents water our vegetable gardens, flower gardens, lawns, and wash our trucks and cars. Probably not often enough, but I have a black truck, it's hard to keep clean anyway.
1 minute. Sir?
But the wastage water from watering my garden, from watering my flower bed, from watering my lawn, doesn't go into the sewer. So when you eliminate that, I'll call it a rebate, that's probably the wrong term, you're charging me a sewer fee for services not rendered. And I would ask you to justify that. You don't have to do it now, I'm not putting you on the spot, but you can't. Our past city council, our past city manager, with apologies to Dan, had that figured out. It's just common sense. It's common sense. I had this conversation with Dan in advance because I didn't want to blindside him on this, but you know what? I don't care if Milwaukee or Chicago or Minneapolis stiffs their customers. You guys shouldn't. And let me bring it down to an even more personal level. And I don't want this mentioned in minutes, but the last time I remember seeing anything in the utility bulletin was, well, we want to do what's best for everybody, and we're not going to continue the rebate credit. And that was a year ago. It was a year ago. So you've had...
Guys,
Let me finish, and you can continue afterwards.
No, give me 1 second so I can ask them. Is it okay if I give them 2 more minutes?
Yes.
Is that okay? All right, you got 2 more minutes.
So, you know, when I dump my water on my lawn, and I only did it last September, it was during bird season. It wasn't raining, okay? I know there's mud puddles out where I hunt. There weren't any mud puddles out there. Trying to grow some grass out by the street. No rain this spring, tried to grow it again. Well, guess what? I used, and this is hard for me, it was hard for me to believe, 60,000 gallons of water. I can assure you, you know, on my mother and father's grave, that I don't have terminal diarrhea. Okay, I just don't. And that's the only other explanation. If I had terminal diarrhea, I wouldn't be standing here tonight. And I have to tell you that I first got wind of this when I talked with the city. I called, I don't know, a week ago or 10 days ago, and the gal I talked to said I was having problems with, I'm not that good at computers. I thought it was my modem, it was my router, so she got me fixed. I go to Walmart and buy a router, bam, it's good. She says, by the way, you've got a hefty sewer bill. And I said, well, I've been watering my lawn in particular. And you know what? If you're to go on the computer, the City of Norway computer, and look up my account, you know what you'd find for June? It's red flagged. So the city employees know that there's a big jump up. And I challenge you to do that, okay? I challenge you all to do that. I say red flag, that's wrong. I want to be accurate. It's an orange flag, okay? So I thank whoever I talked with on the phone about that, solving my computer problem, because I would have never solved it by myself. And that led me to, before I even got my statement, you know. And I swear to God, I don't have terminal diarrhea. And that's the only way you can justify charging for services not rendered. Milwaukee can do it, Chicago can do it, Minneapolis can do it, but we're better than in Norway and Vulcan. It's that simple. And the past city council had that figured out. In the past, it's common sense. And, you know, these folks from Ukraine are from a city of, one's from Kharkiv, which is 1.5 million population. The subway system is under the Russian guns, okay? We've had 3 friends killed in service, 1 war rape, 2 kidnappings, and that's just amongst friends and family. They don't have that kind of opportunity to come to a city council meeting and raise hell, so to speak, and I'm trying to do it politely, okay?
You are.
But, you know, I'm glad I'm proud of our country, support them, and I hope they continue to. If you know your history, American history, World War I, U.S. was reticent to go to battle. World War II, absolutely, same story. Ukraine's not asking us to send troops there. We spend 3%, or we've sent 3% of our annual military budget to send weapons to Ukraine. Puts a different light on things, doesn't it? I'm sorry I couldn't, you know, I've been putting up with this crap for 500 days. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I really want you to, you know, you have to put a notice in the bulletin. You didn't do a follow-up bulletin notice. I had to print this out in big print, okay? Because I wear reading glasses and I forgot reading glasses, so thank God I did. But, you know, you didn't do that. That's a big failure. The notice in this month's bulletin was so small, I needed my reading glasses and the magnifying glass. That's not appropriate, and you know it's not appropriate. People have a right to know, okay? I'd be glad to respond to any questions. I've said a lot, and they probably overran my 3, but I hopefully gave you something to think about.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
We'll move on to anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on an agenda item only shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes. We'll move on to appointments, announcements, and presentation. Discussion action items. Number 1, City of Norway property purchase request.
Yes.
Check all that.
Thanks.
Yeah, he's here.
Thank you.
He's here to,
Okay.
want me just to kind of give a.
Yeah, go ahead. Give us the overview.
So we've discussed this particular parcel and Mr. Ben Peterson's request of red line to purchase the city property. We began this conversation, at least with me, in June at the council. He may have been interested prior to that. During the last year, this parcel went to Planning Commission to discuss rezoning it to commercial. That discussion was had here at council, and council agreed to have it rezoned to a commercial parcel opposed to R2. That parcel has now been rezoned. We therefore had it reappraised to reflect the commercial value opposed to the R2 residential value. And that's also in your packet. So Mr. Peterson is here today to seek council's approval to purchase the property that is adjacent to his sport and marine business. He also has a offer in your packet. You know, my general feeling on the property, and I guess it kind of depends on who you are and what you think. I don't know the the value of that property serves for your basic new building type commercial. It does have it'd be tough to get a large building in there per setbacks unless you started cutting into that property. So to me, it is now commercial. It does help Mr. Peterson expand his business. His business appears to be doing well. I think that's a good thing for our community to consider. What I believe should happen, my overall recommendation is, as I do, if council wishes to pursue selling this with Mr. Peterson, I believe it should be at the appraised value. And I do believe that it should be put up publicly for sale for at least 30 days. So what I would do is have, if you're interested, have the city attorney and myself start drawing up a potential purchase agreement with Mr. Peterson. And again, I believe it should be at the appraised value. And during that time, I think it should be listed publicly for sale. And if we receive any offers within that time, we give Mr. Peterson the first right of refusal on that property. And he is here today to answer and discuss
Well,
anything.
Mr. Pearson has a right to, he can put any bid he wants on it.
Yep.
Right? Looks to me like he put it in for 7,000.
He did this.
Okay.
And that is up from his previous lash.
Wasn't that just gonna be a parking lot? Because you can't really put a building there, can you? Or you
Right.
have
Yeah.
some type of storage?
For right now, yeah, I had considered, a building down the road, but with the setbacks, that we discussed, from the road right up to where the hillside goes. And to be honest, I don't wanna dig into that hillside because it would erode the parking lot.
That parking lot,
For the.
yeah, that pavement would be sitting down in the.
Yeah, it would be in my parking lot, basically.
I
eventually.
rolled by there tonight too, I was thinking, you're not gonna probably be able to dig into there.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
setback for a commercial building with side parking is 30 feet. It would be pretty tight.
Close,
A
yeah.
variance would probably be likely.
Yeah. And, there is a lot of fill there that I need to remove, so that's why the offer is lower. I can't put a building in there. Basically, my plan for it would be is to remove a bunch more dirt, because it's kind of going uphill right now, and customers have to back a boat uphill, basically, because it's been prior practice that we've used the property to store maintenance boats up on that hill before I owned it even. And so continued practice would be that I would probably bring that down some so that it's more level. And eventually what I'd like to do is fence it, because I did have a boat motor stolen off the back of one of the boats there last week, so that was fun.
That's a shame.
We did that, and then eventually, shave the hill just a little bit and fence it so that I can open up big gates and just have customers pull in and drop their boats in there, and then be able to shut the gates for the evening so I don't have to worry about it at night. Or put cameras on.
I did really appreciate that you got us an appraisal on it. Looked through it, I like the comparables. And it does, being that it went into the different category, it is worth a little bit more.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, if we're gonna put it up for sale, but I think we should start at the $12,000, appraisal.
Yeah, and I would even take it a step further and say, obviously, we give it 30 days, and, if $7,000 comes back as our only or best bid, then we can all, discuss and see if we want to accept that, because I, for one, would love to help any businesses in town, right? But again, I think we all have a responsibility to the taxpayer to make sure we're trying to get the most money we can for the city property, so I like where you're at with that.
Yeah, and I like the idea too, of course, he'll get first chance at it, because he's already came in and did
Yeah,
that.
I would agree with that.
But
We should decide
I
what to put out
like
there.
that if he doesn't want it, it's out there, because I've seen that happen many times before even I got on the council. People wanted property or whatever, well, nobody else in town knew it was for sale. That's not a fair thing either, that it just gets sold to one
And we do appreciate your patience, Ben.
Yeah, we
It's
do.
kind of
We
been
know
a
this
long
has been coming.
thing
Yeah,
for you.
it's been over a year, but that's here nor there. I honestly don't mind that. It's, more so that, you know, there's setbacks with the power lines that are there.
Sure.
On both, the one that goes across the property on an angle as well as the one on the side. And then also from the roads and all that, you know. And so 7,000 makes it advantageous to me. You know, beyond that, I probably would just deal with the property I got and hopefully nobody buys it because it would really mess up my business, you know, as far as pulling boats down the road on with the
And that's
tractor.
fair too.
So,
Okay, so should we,
I think we should just be clear though, that from what I'm hearing from council, and Dan ran this by me, I thought it was, because the property's not for sale.
Thanks, Ben.
I thought that was a good way of looking at it, just from a perspective of being fair, since it's not open to the public, or listed for sale yet, but a private citizen coming forward requesting it be put up for sale, so I thought that was a good idea. I think I want to make sure that it's clear though, it doesn't sound, we're not putting this out for bids, right?
No,
This
it's
is
just
listing it for sale,
Right.
listing it for sale at $12,000, and then revisiting after 30 days if somebody comes in at above 12, 13, 14, or if there's a number that people come at it with. But that's the sale price that council, it sounds like, would like to utilize for based on the appraised value, right? But you're not looking to do bids on this, right?
No.
Okay, just list it like we normally would for any other park.
We
just
just want
list
30 days
it,
of listing,
and
yes.
then he
Yep.
can, after the 30 days, come back, and then it's up to council whether they want to sell it for that price
Yes.
or not.
Yep. I just wanted to be clear
So,
from my perspective.
Parcel for sale, appraised value $12,000.
Yep.
Ben, being that, you know, I mean, obviously I want to be fair to everybody in the city. I would encourage you, you know, I mean, I'm a Reading Township trustee as well, so I would encourage you to offer it for sale for the 30 days so that it doesn't look like we're doing anything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
100% agree with that, you know, I have no problem with that. I just would like that you would consider the 7,000 as,
Sure.
you know, would help out the business, so.
That's why he's so patient. He knows all this regulation.
Yeah,
It's all clear now.
Do we want to give them right of first refusal since it's kind of connected to this business? I know Dan's got something about that in here. I mean, I don't know if we can. I just see it in the motion.
I think it starts going on it goes on a slippery slope,
Yeah.
giving somebody a right of
Yeah.
first refusal.
right.
I think all of council recognizes Mr. Peterson's contributions to the community, the business he's running. They know he's been interested in this for some time, but I think it'd be a bit of a step too far.
Yeah.
But I certainly would anticipate if additional inquiries come in, I have a feeling that Mr. Peterson will be contacted and it will be discussed with him.
Thanks again, Ben.
Yeah.
Hopefully 30, 45 days from now, we'll be, finally getting to some resolution on this thing for you.
Thanks.
Would council at all like us to begin working up any paperwork just to, if no offers come in and he has an offer that we're kind of getting closer? So-
No,
I would say let the offers come in and,
yeah, we'll go
you
from
know,
there.
we'll go on, yeah, bring them to us at
Do
that
the
time.
right thing first.
Right, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I was just trying to
It won't take, I don't think it'll take very long after the 30 days, right? You probably have something done in a couple days. I mean, as long as
Yeah.
Brad's not too busy for us.
I'd have one prepared the same day.
There you go, right? That's the answer, right?
All right.
Thanks again.
Use my solution to have it.
So just make a
Listed.
motion to have
Have
you and
listed for
Grant
30
go ahead with
days.
the paperwork and get it up for sale?
Yeah.
Well, I think if I understood what you guys are looking for right now, is just motion to list it for that 30 days at
Do we
the
have-
appraised value for
Yeah.
the listing price.
We have an approved real estate agent for the city, which is Stevens,
No.
correct?
It
I-
doesn't have to be
let-
30 days.
Let's just sell it to ourselves.
Oh, that's all we have to do?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
right now,
this
it's
isn't
not
listed.
with anybody.
It's gotta be listed.
Yeah, I'm saying right now, it's not listed and it's not under.
Which should be
any sort of-
listed is what we're saying.
Yes.
Scott. I think.
I don't think you should list it in underneath it, because you're gonna lose money on it. If you list it with real estate,
No, we wouldn't be listing it through a realtor. It would be listed just on our.
just on us,
property
but,
for
yeah,
sale.
for sale by
Yeah.
owner,
Yeah,
basically.
we don't currently have representation per se.
Yeah.
And you don't wanna put 30 days.
Yeah, it's a
because-
commercial piece of property, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't, don't put a 30-day thing on there, because if we don't take his offer or something comes up, just leave it open and it's listed.
Yeah, I just feel like at minimum, to at least get it out there long enough.
Yeah.
for someone to-
What we're saying is we'll put it up there at 30 days at the 12.
And then we'll.
If there's no takers, obviously Scott's bid will be brought back to
Ben.
council, or I'm sorry, Ben's bid will be brought back to the council for consideration, I guess is what we're saying,
Yes.
correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
I wouldn't put that in the motion, though.
No. No, we're just gonna.
Just
put it up
list
for
it.
30 days.
Yep, I'll just put
All
it
right,
on.
do I have a motion to list this property?
Yeah, motion that, parcel number 053-479-020-00 be placed up for sale at the appraised value of $12,000.
Do I get a support?
Support.
Who support?
I did, Brett.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Mararo?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
We'll move on to resolution 2023-14 wastewater treatment plant sludge disposal.
This is not related to the
The
last
other
one. So what this is, I think we have a 6-year agreement with the state of Wisconsin to take our sludge to Wisconsin for their
Yeah.
farmers. We're still within that agreement. Every single year, we have to have a resolution on file
Yes.
for them.
And we've had it before.
Yep. we did it
This
last
is not the trend.
This is not, this is very different. So you do have a resolution, 2023-14, would be the resolution to approve, to allow us to move our sludge
And
to
we've been
Wisconsin.
doing this.
Yep, we did it last year on the same time of year, and presumably before that, during that first 6-year period.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that resolution 2023-14 be approved.
Or,
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Mararo?
yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. We'll move on to item number 3, hydro concrete repair.
I'll let Scott kind of go over this mostly, but talking to him, we've been every year doing some sort of repair, concrete work, masonry work on the hydro. He does have his recommendation for what that work would be now. And we do have this in the budget.
For this year now.
For this year, this is this current year. So on that, Scott, I'll let council wishes, Scott.
Thank you. So this is the gravity wall between Unit 4's building and the island. So as you're walking off the island, it would be directly underneath your feet. That concrete, the face is popped off due to freeze-thaw cycles. Cold joints are starting to erode. So it's time to give that thing some TLC. Along with that, the stairs on the island, there's 2 sets, I guess you'd call it. So the first set is just gonna get repaired. It's not beyond the point of repair. And then there's like, I want to say like 6 steps on the next flight. Those are gonna get tore out. They're completely gone. The tree roots have actually popped the steps out from their footing. They're loose. They are a liability. So we're gonna pop them out and put new steps in. In light of our tours that we've been giving and stuff, I think it's really good to just try to mitigate any issues out there. So.
If we approve this bid, the way I'm looking at it, when will they do this? Because, if you get too close to fall, when the leaves fall, you won't be able to rake that out if they're working on it.
That's a good point. So I talked to them, they're on a project right now at Boney. When that is completed, they were looking at getting on this, so it would actually be probably middle of August.
How long do you think? Because you don't want to hit into that leaf fall.
Yeah, it's probably about a 3-week project. So it would be cutting it close, but I think we can get it done.
As long as they came in the middle of August, we'd probably be safe. I wouldn't go any later than that.
Yeah,
The good news, I don't think we have any barge work on or anything.
Yeah, you're not until October when you start losing leaves.
Sometimes earlier.
yeah, we can work around it if we have to. If we absolutely had to, we can move around the plan. It would be
Not-
bad, but we
not-
could do it if we had to.
I didn't inquire with that barge you asked me about, talk to me after the rain, so because I'm gonna forget everybody.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was worried about,
That's
because
a-
I know you have to rake the leaves out
That's
of
a
there.
really good point. And yeah, we don't want to get up against that.
No, and you don't want to be using a wheelbarrow, because you guys will be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doing that.
We'll try not to, but yeah, we'll try to get scheduled ahead of time.
Right, and I know every year is different, you know, sometimes they all drop at once, and sometimes they come little by little, just depends. That's the only question I had, Scott. Does anybody have any other questions?
Is this the not to exceed bid, Scott?
Yes, it is.
I would, can I say can we get an itemized for TCR?
Yeah, I can try to get one. Yeah.
It's just to install 10 yards of mortar repair, install 2 coats of chem coat. That's starting to get a little high.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just the labor going into it because you've got to manually bring it all in there.
I don't disagree. I would just like to see if we could
No,
see a
it's-
little bit of an itemized,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
When would, kind of idea, when would you like to see that? Before?
I'm gonna
or
motion.
kind of-
if he makes a motion, I still just would like to see that itemized list,
Right.
irregardless.
With
Yes.
that.
Unless you wanted to wait on it.
That was my question.
That's, if you wanna wait on it.
If he puts it in his motion, but if he makes the motion or someone makes the motion, if we could add that in the motion to provide us with an itemized quote.
Okay.
Because the county's wondering what push this thing too far, because they're starting in the fall.
Correct.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I motion that hydro concrete repairs. Yeah. I got it right here too. Go ahead. Yes, there it is. Hydro plant repairs, concrete repairs, be ordered TCR for a price not to exceed $97,055, with the stipulation that we get an itemized breakdown of items 1 and 2 on their price quotation.
Support.
Was that Kramer?
Yeah. Brett beat me.
Mr. Mangini?
Yes.
Mr. Mararo?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
And one other question on that, also when, they came in and inspected the dam, there was, when, FERC came in and looked at everything, wasn't this one of the things FERC said we had to fix?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So FERC points out all kinds of things. One of the things that the reason we do this annually is to not give them anything to really look at. So if they identify a deficiency and we address it, we kind of stay out of their hair, per se. So the better relationship we have with FERC, the better our lives are in general. So this was identified, we're going to fix it, so that next year when they come down and say, hey, you guys fixed what we identified, that's how we stay in their good graces.
And just so people know out there, FERC is where we get our license from, and when they come in and they do tell us to fix things, sometimes they give us a certain amount of time, but if we do not fix these, we will not get our license.
Correct. This is also budgeted, initiative budget. We have capital funds available yearly for upkeep of the concrete, restoration of the concrete, because it's just a necessary maintenance that's very important to the lifespan of the dam and the safety of the dam. So this is not something that we didn't expect, the $97,000.
Well, then when you put concrete and water, you're going to have erosion, so we gotta keep up on it.
Correct.
Yeah, one of the inherent, I would call it deficiencies with that plant is the fact that it's south-facing. And then in wintertime, you've always got moisture on there, and you get a warm January day, and that warm January day warms up the concrete and it will pop facing that concrete off. It's just inherent with the way that our dam faces, and it's just something we have to deal with. So that's where that sem coat that they have coat on there, that is a breathable membrane. So it will allow moisture to come out, but it kind of seals it up as well. And so far, we've had really good success with it. So,
And they've done a very good job. TCR has done a very good job.
Yeah.
Just,
yep.
you know,
It's a specialty type thing.
Yep.
It's hard to get a bunch of bids on stuff like
Absolutely.
that. We've got good history with this company, so yes, I agree.
We'll move on to mayor council comments. Scott, do you have anything?
I have nothing for tonight.
I have nothing, thank you.
Guys, yeah, I got a question. I've had a couple constituents ask about neighbors' branches going across property lines. And I got some pretty upset ones out there where they're breaking off, they're not being kept up, they're growing down type thing. The tree's actually somebody else's tree, but the branches going across somebody else's yard. Do we have any rules and regs on that?
I don't know.
Can you check into that for us?
I've had a couple too where the roofs are getting tore up by
Yeah, right.
moss, because
Yeah.
the trees are overhanging.
Fences, things like this, yeah.
I've had a couple too.
I bet you the lawyer has something to say about
I'm
that.
waiting for the attorney to tell me.
I don't need that answer in a second, I just wanna make sure we're all on the same page, right?
Yeah, I'm not in the habit of giving general legal
No.
advice.
Yeah, right. I'm
Um,
not looking for just a second,
I-
just
I
something
understand.
that's getting on a plate.
It comes up often.
Besides, that's all.
It's not cut and dry?
Yeah, I'll look into that for you.
Thanks.
Rico, did you have anything?
No.
I have a couple. Where are we at with Hanbury Lake with the bathrooms? We said we needed parts and everything.
Yep,
I haven't
I
heard
don't
anything
have-
back, and
yep.
summer's gonna be over, and
Yep.
that bathroom is still.
No, it's and that was my fault. What I got was that there is a lot of repairs that need to be done for it to work. And then I got busy and didn't follow up on it. So that's on me. I'll talk to Public Works on exactly what is wrong and what their costs are.
Okay, I wanna congratulate, Cheryl for getting her Class D license down at the water plant. And, one question I gotta ask is, when we put in for that fireman's thing, and I think I know the answer to it, Vulcan, Norway, and Waseda had for the grant,
For the fight, yeah.
for the grant for the radios. At first it said 10,000, and I was like, why 10,000? But is it 10,000 each
Yes.
government?
Yeah, correct. It's 10,000 per municipality user
So it's a $30,000 grant, but 10 for each.
for each, and it'll be
Okay.
combined in that purchase. And each township had to give me a letter of support.
Tandy, may I for 1 second?
Mm-hmm.
Scott, did you get it? You said we were close on hearing back on some of the grants for the hydro?
Yeah, I would think, the first one, the smart grid grant, we should hear back within 6 weeks or so.
Okay.
So that's that would be great if we got that grant, almost covers them all, and it's a $30,000 grant in total. I don't know if you guys seen, but I'm gonna remind you, the MMEA, Fall Conference is in, I think it starts September 19th. If any of yous are interested, we would need to know as soon as possible. I am going, Dan is going,
Scott's gonna go.
And
It's
Scott's
a
gonna
Marquette.
go.
What's it like that?
And, yeah, you gotta let them know right away.
Yep.
So, music in the park, I just wanna say a nice job, the open air market, good. I, walked down there this Thursday and I could not believe the people who were down there. Young, old, you know, the little kids dancing. I mean, when you walk down, the whole front of the band shell, that whole lawn was full. The street was full of lawn chairs. You know, for both of them who work on that, Greg Hunt and Carol, who works on music in the park, and Debbie, who is given all her volunteer time to work on this open air market. I think it's a great thing. I think it's bringing people into town, and people are enjoying it.
I did see a sign posted on one of our residential neighbors of the area, just asking
Pick
in
up
brief
your
for the courtesy of, hey, leave it how you found it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So thank you to, you know, all the neighboring shops and residents, you know,
Right.
for putting up with the increased traffic, for the good thing of bringing our little highlight to our community.
Yes. And that's all I have. Dan?
Just one thing, you mentioned the MMEA, for council, there's also the Michigan Municipal League Convention.
That's the Traverse City one.
That's in Traverse City, October 18th for 20th. I know it is difficult for all of you to attend those types of conferences, but it is a really good conference to go to. Those are built not only for, you know, managers, but for mayors and council people to attend. So if you're
Was
interested in
that
that.
in our
Yep.
memorandum? I must have missed that one.
It's
I'll
in
have
there.
to
So
look at it.
if anyone was interested in that, just let me know. and we can,
Yeah,
we'll take
and-
care of that.
Make sure you let them know ahead of time, because they only have so many rooms. And we have to, make sure we have rooms ahead of time, so. As soon as you know what,
Any one of those.
Dan or Tricia or Lisa, I know Lisa was working on this last one, no?
That's all.
Grant, did you have anything tonight?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
girls? No? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make-
No.
Make a motion we adjourn?
Or
Scott, Jeff.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
Annual ball.